Hello, my name is Jim Stowe. I'm Director of the Office of Human Rights, and I am delighted to be here on a very, very special occasion to speak with the County Executive, Marc Elrich. You have policies in place, all ones that you are looking to put into place to address some of these issues. For instance,
Yeah.
how do you see then that's moving on some of the challenges that we have right now with, again, affordable housing as an example? Challenges that you see, in fact, of trying to increase the workforce to not only diversify. You're working very hard on the science corridor right now. We got a lot of things going on as far as that's concerned there in the Gaithersburg area. So that's also, so if you will, just share with us a little bit about, what you have in mind, policies you already have in place, and those that you again see on the horizon.
So we're looking at housing policies that require a higher portion of housing to be affordable and to be affordable at a wider range of incomes. Right now we leave out people who are truly the most needy people, and they're lucky if they get anything. It takes an extraordinary circumstance when we exact any units that actually address that need. And we've created a problem that even people of moderate means can't find housing. And so we need housing policies that are broader and serve a wider range of people. I've seen, beginning of progress in schools where, for years in Montgomery County, it was like, if you're not going to college, why are you here? And now I think they're realizing we need to go back to training for trades. There are plenty of professional opportunities that pay better than college-educated opportunities. We need to tell our young people about them. Not everybody is going to want to go to college. They may want to later. But we should make sure that everybody leaves school with the ability to work. And our schools, and I see this at Montgomery College and USG, certificate programs, getting away from the mentality, I need you to go through a 4-year degree program, when in fact, there are a whole bunch of jobs out there. What you need is a certificate, some number of credits, maybe 2 years of I forget what they call that, the certificate you would get from a 2-year college.
Associate degree?
So you get associate's degree. Mm-hmm. Enough that you can do the job that you need to do or that you want to do without putting you through 4 years of college. I went through 4 years of college. It was perfectly fine. I went to graduate school. But for what I wanted to do, those are things that I set out to do. Plus, I actually liked learning. So I was the weird kid who took summer school classes because he liked to learn. But, for other people, they need to know that they could leave, say, high school and go just get the certificate they need and go get a job that's, that pays really decently. There are people in the world of computing who've never been to college. They didn't need college to learn how to do what they're doing. They dwarf my income because they've got skills that, that are in high demand. So the pivoting of our educational institutions to be prepared to train people for work, I think, is a big deal. I also think you have to maintain things like social studies and history, because if you don't know your history, well, then you don't understand the context in which you live. So to me, that's important. I think access to medical care. COVID not only was bad because it was COVID, but it revealed so many of the social inequities, the social determinants of health, and the disparate number of people who died who were people of color. And that got their underlying health conditions. And then you realize, well, gee, we need to make sure that people get access to medical care earlier, that they can afford it, that they trust the doctors they go to. And those are issues that we, obviously clearly need to deal with. So, I can see a way forward. I wouldn't do this if I didn't think there were things you could do that would bring about the kind of changes, but I would never tell anybody these are easy, quick, or simple, and that they're not going to have people who say, well, I don't like it because, what you're going to do may not be to my economic advantage. I'm somebody who looks at the whole group, and I think you have to look at the good of the whole, and you try to develop policies that provide the greatest opportunity for the most number of people. That's what interests me.
We at the Office of Human Rights are an agency that takes in complaints in the area of housing and employment and public accommodations, and tries then to investigate those cases and render findings a fact. When someone investigates your administration, when someone goes through the analysis of what happened from the day one that you took office and the day that you in fact may finish that second term, if you choose to do something beyond that, but whatever it is that comes to some sort of closure, what's going to be the final finding of the Elrich administration in terms of how you in fact were successful against these things you just mentioned? How will they evaluate that? What will be the finding of fact, as it were?
I think people will find that we look for opportunities to move the needle. As I tell, there's a Buddhist philosophy about your duty in life is to spin the wheel of the Dharma, which is in Buddhism the wheel of truth. And you may have an end, but if you attach yourself to the end, then life is full of disappointment. Or you have an ego that's way too big because you think you can change everything in the world, and you're just one of many forces in the world. So, my job, as I see it, is to try to move the wheel, to try to move things forward. And we will move everything we can possibly move. If we can find resources, we'll deploy them. We'll look at what the research says is where's the most effective place to deploy them. I don't have any, I won't say I don't have preconceived notions about every single solution. Because I don't walk in everybody else's shoes. And I told people that when I was campaigning, I am not going to get in front of every group and say, well, this is what we're going to do. You may not want that. I need to know how you look at the world and what are the most important things for you. You need to help guide the decisions I make. I'm not coming in here as the guy who's going to tell you do this, this, and this. The world's going to be perfect. So I'm try to be attuned to listening to what people have to say and to give them a chance to kind of shape their own destinies so I can figure out what I do to help them achieve what they want to do. So I hope that people will look back and say, we did what we could do. And I will say, I absolutely do believe we'll move things. I know, I was a council member in Tacoma Park. I know rent stabilization in Tacoma Park changed people's lives, made it possible to stay in Montgomery County and Montgomery County schools when they wouldn't have been able to do that. If we hadn't had rent stabilization, they would have been pushed out of the county. I know that raising minimum wage helps family meet their needs, that without, the extra, so it's like over $5. We have been stuck where we were, it'd been $5 or $6 less than it is today. That money makes a difference in people's lives. Is it, that businesses have to accommodate it at some point? Yeah. But we ask people to accommodate poverty as if that's of no concern to us. So I was perfectly comfortable saying this is what we're going to do. We need to do this. And I think history has borne out. The world did not fall apart. None of the terrible things people said would happen. We're a thriving county. We've got great opportunities here. And we have a $15 minimum wage. So those are the kind of things that I know we can do, and we're going to keep doing.
It's been my great delight to talk with our County Executive, Marc Elrich. Thank you, County Executive, for spending time with me this evening on this topic. Black History Month is upon us. Folks, thank you for being a part of our conversation this evening. Again, my name is Jim Stowe. I'm Director of the Office of Human Rights. And it's been my great joy, to be a part of this evening's program. Thank you.
Thank you.